Please welcome Minister of National Development Planning, Head of the National Development Planning Agency, Mr. Suharso Monoarfa, is entering the ballroom. With respect to our invited guests, please allow me to invite everyone to stand. And those joining via Zoom to adopt a respectful posture. And together, we will sing the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Guests, you may now be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for the next agenda, we will present to you Balinese traditional dance, Panyembrama. Panyembrama comes from the word Sambrama, which means welcome, and this dance is performed when there are official events to welcome the guests, and also often performed during ritual ceremonies. Please, big round of applause, Panyembrama dance. Thank you. That was Panyam Brahma Dance. And today we are honored to present a video that showcases Indonesia's initiative towards fostering a sustainable blue economy. Now we present to you Indonesia Blue Economy video.
Indonesia is the largest archipelagic country in the world, with abundant biodiversity potential in marine resources and strategic geographical location for more than half of international shipping. It is known for its wealth of marine natural resources, the beauty of its coral reefs, beaches and natural seas. Around 40 million rural Indonesians depend on its biodiversity. This shows how the ocean is important for the wealth of Indonesia. We always dive deeper into the blue sea and feel blessed with many gifts from it.
But challenges still exist because of nature, or even the impact of our actions.
Various challenges persist. Climate change, coastal degradation, limited value added, and low innovation still need to be our focus.
We need a better solution to sustain what the ocean has given to Indonesia. For current and future generations. We study, we analyze, and seek to understand more. To create a path for the future of Indonesia's blue economy.
Indonesia Blue Economy targets in 2045.
1. Environment. Marine protected areas make up 30% or 97.5 million hectares of water. 2.
Economy. Maritime sector GDP contribution of 15%.
3.
Social. Employment contributes 12% of total employment in Indonesia. The growth of blue economy will be driven by 8 priority sectors. Capture fisheries and aquaculture. Marine-based manufacturing. Maritime trade, transportation and logistics. Tourism. Renewable energy. Biotechnology and bioeconomy. Research and education. Marine conservation and ecosystem services.
With our commitment to the ocean, together we secure a healthy marine environment, create prosperity, and strengthen resilience. For this moment, and for a brighter future.
Om Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Good morning and welcome to the parallel event, Blue Economy Innovation for Shared Prosperity. The Excellency Minister of National Development Planning, Head of the National Development Planning Agency, Mr. Suharso Monoarfa, Acting Governor of Bali, Mr. S.M. Mahendra Jaya, Deputy Ministers and Directors across line ministries and government agencies, our respected speakers, discussant and moderator, and our invited guests, whether present offline or online. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Economy Parallel event at the World Water Forum 2024 represent a pivotal moment for Indonesia to showcase its leadership and innovative approaches within the marine sector. Having Blue Economic Innovation for Shared Prosperity as the theme highlights the Indonesian government commitment to ensuring that the advantages of the blue economy extend equitably across all echelons of society, particularly benefiting coastal communities whose sustenance is intricately linked with marine resources. Esteemed guests, the Deputy of Economic Affairs, the responsible person for the Blue Economy World Water Forum Parallel Event 2024, will present the reports of the event. We invite Mrs. Amalia Adininggar Widyasanti to proceed.
Your Excellency, Minister of National Development Planning, Head of National Development Planning Agency, Bapak Suharso Monoarfa, Your Excellency Acting Governor of Bali, Bapak Mahendra Jaya, our respected speakers, Piera Tortora, Head of 4P Secretariat OECD, who came from Paris and arriving yesterday, Ibu Amelia Fairfield, the Director of CSIRO Southeast Asia, Rafaela Le Gouvula, IUCN expert in blue economy, who will be presenting from Paris, Ibu Julia Racer, co-founder of ULU, our discussant and moderators, Ibu Vivi Yulaswati, Deputy Minister for Maritime and Natural Resources, and also Bapak Ervan Maksum, Deputy Minister for Infrastructure from Ministry of National Development Planning, Bappenas, Bapak Leonardo Teguh Sambodo, Senior Advisor to the Minister of Bappenas for Leading Sector Development and Infrastructure, Ibu Virgi, Deputy Minister for Regional Development, and also Ibu Ika, Senior Advisor to the Minister of National Development Planning, and all today's participants from development partners, line ministries, local government, university, and private sectors. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to express our gratitude to convene today event on the topic of the blue economy. It is with great appreciation that we can gather here in Bali with the development agenda, which holds a paramount position in the next national medium-term development planning document. In the draft of the next medium-term planning document, it underscores the significance of the blue economy development as one of the pivotal future development programs that contribute to realize our national aspirations, particularly to elevate the maritime contribution to our GDP to 15% by 2045. Bapak Menteri, Pak Gubernur, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia's blue economy has progressed and developed since the very early stage of 2021. If I can report to Pak Menteri and Pak Gubernur and all ladies and gentlemen, in 2021, Indonesia initiated the development of Indonesia Blue Economy Framework, collaborated with OECD. Following this, the National Blue Agenda Action Partnership was also established in 2022, coordinated by Coordinating Ministry of Maritime Affairs, and also Bappenas is involved in that development. It brings together multi-stakeholders from government, the private sector, and civil society to drive collaborative efforts toward blue economy goals. Indonesia also take another step towards the launch of Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap, where the first edition were launched during the ASEAN Blue Economy Forum 2023, where Indonesia is hosting the ASEAN chairmanship, and that the first ASEAN Blue Economy Forum was held in Belitung. And then the second edition of the Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap was introduced at the Indonesia Development Forum in 2023 in Batam. As the chair of ASEAN in 2023, Indonesia hosted the first ASEAN Blue Economy in Belitung, ASEAN Blue Economy Forum in Belitung, and as a part of our flagship, we delivered the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework that was adopted by the ASEAN leaders in September 2023. The progress of ASEAN Blue Economy is moving forward. Under Laos ASEAN chairmanship in 2024, Indonesia and Laos has delivered the establishment of ASEAN Coordinating Task Force on Blue Economy, and then the task force will hold a meeting. The first meeting will be held in August this year, ASEAN Task Force on Blue Economy. So far, several development partners have provided support to Indonesia Blue Economy and ASEAN Blue Economy. We do appreciate OECD and Sweden to support Indonesia since 2021. Furthermore, Korea provides support for the establishment of Blue Economy Innovation Center in Bintan, Riau Island, and Australia recently conveyed its support to Indonesia and ASEAN Blue Economy. Indonesia also has launched the Indonesia Blue Economy Index in 2023, which was also a significant milestone for facilitating data-driven decision-making and accountability of blue economy development. Bapak Menteri, Pak Gubernur, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Economy Parallel event at the World Water Forum 2024 will highlight the importance of innovation, the importance of collaboration between the government, private sectors, academicians, and local communities to achieve a sustainable and equitable blue economy vision in Indonesia. The event is attended by 159 participants right now, Pak Menteri, from embassies, various line ministries, local government, private sectors, associations, and the universities. We are expecting that our today's discussions will create another milestones for Indonesia Blue Economy, highlighting innovative solutions, innovative partnerships, and tangible outcomes. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi 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 Om.
Thank you, Ibu Amalia Dininggar Widyasanti. His Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, next let us hear the welcoming remarks by the Acting Governor of Bali as the host of today's event. To Mr. S.M. Mahendra Jaya, the floor is yours.
Om Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Salam, namo buddhaya, salam kebajikan, rahayu, rahayu, rahayu. Yang terhormat dan menjadi kebanggaan kita bersama, Bapak Menteri Perencanaan Pembangunan Nasional, Bappenas, Bapak Dr. Insinyur Haji Soeharto Manoarfa, MA. Yang saya hormati para penjabat pimpinan tinggi media Kementerian PPN Bappenas. Yang saya hormati Head of Popi Secretariat Paris Part of For People and the Planet OECD, Ibu Piri Chortora. Yang saya hormati Counselor Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research, Ibu Amelia. Yang saya hormati Co-founder Ulu, Ibu Yulia Rischer. Yang saya hormati pakar IUCN di bidang ekonomi biru regeneratif, Ibu Dr. Rafaelia, hadir secara daring. Yang saya hormati para delegasi World Water Forum dan Bapak Ibu undangan serta hadirin yang berbahagia. Marilah kita mengucapkan puja dan puji syukur kehadirat Ide Sang Hyang Widi Wasa, Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, karena atas perkenannya kita dapat hadir pada pertemuan yang sangat penting pada hari ini dalam keadaan sehat, santi, dan berbahagia. Merupakan suatu kehormatan bagi pemerintah daerah dan masyarakat Bali karena telah ditunjuk sebagai tempat pertemuan penting dunia, yaitu World Water Forum ke-10 tahun 2024 untuk kepentingan masyarakat global. Bali merupakan pulau kecil dengan luas wilayah daratan sekitar 5.636 km persegi dan luas wilayah perairan laut 9.152 km persegi. Terdiri dari 9 kabupaten kota dan 57 kecamatan, 716 desa kelurahan, dan 1.493 desa adat dengan jumlah penduduk 4,3 juta jiwa. Bali memiliki lebih dari 5.000 pura, sehingga dikenal juga sebagai Pulau Seribu Pura. Karakteristik yang lain, Bali dikenal dengan keunikannya karena memiliki alam, manusia, dan budaya yang menyatu dalam satu kesatuan tatanan kehidupan yang sampai saat ini masih lestari di tengah-tengah dinamika global. Bali memiliki pantai, laut, danau, sungai, dan gunung, serta pegunungan. Gunung di hulu dan pantai di hilir, sehingga terjadi bentangan alam negara gunung, di mana pegunungan tersebut terbentang di tengah-tengah Pulau Bali yang memanjang dari barat ke timur. Bapak Menteri dan peserta forum yang berbahagia, tata kehidupan masyarakat Bali dilandasi oleh nilai-nilai filosofi Trihita Karana dan Satkerti. Trihita Karana artinya cara hidup untuk memelihara 3 keseimbangan, yaitu keseimbangan antara manusia dengan yang Maha Pencipta. Kedua, keseimbangan antara manusia dengan sesama manusia, dan keseimbangan antara manusia dengan alam beserta lingkungannya. Sedangkan Satkerti artinya 6 sumber kebahagiaan dan kesejahteraan. Salah satu dari filosofi Satkerti adalah Segara Kerti, yang artinya menjaga kesucian laut sebagai sumber kehidupan dan kesejahteraan. Dalam praktik keseharian ditandai dengan persembahan berbagai bentuk upacara dan tradisi budaya oleh masyarakat Bali. Dalam konteks pembangunan global serta konsep Sustainable Development Goal, filosofi Segara Kerti ini sejalan dengan konsep Blue Economy. Pembangunan diprioritaskan melalui pengembangan potensi kelautan secara optimal dengan tetap menjaga kelestariannya untuk generasi mendatang. Hal ini juga sejalan dengan konsep transformasi ekonomi Bali, di mana pembangunan Bali tidak boleh hanya bergantung pada sektor pariwisata. Pembangunan sektor lainnya seperti pertanian, perikanan, perkebunan, peternakan, dan industri harus diperkuat sehingga terwujud struktur dan fundamental ekonomi Bali yang kuat dan seimbang. Pemerintah Provinsi Bali mengelola sumber daya kelautan secara berkelanjutan dan konservasi dalam rangka pertumbuhan ekonomi dengan prinsip mengutamakan partisipasi masyarakat, efisiensi sumber daya, menciptakan nilai tambah ganda, multiple revenue, melibatkan tenaga kerja yang lebih banyak dan dengan menghasilkan limbah minimal dan zero waste. Bapak Menteri dan peserta forum yang berbahagia, tujuan implementasi Blue Economy ini adalah menjamin kelestarian keanekaragaman hayati laut dan ekosistem laut serta lingkungan pesisir dan laut secara berkelanjutan, mendorong pertumbuhan ekonomi di industri kelautan dan perikanan, serta peningkatan kesejahteraan masyarakat, terutama masyarakat pesisir. Potensi ekonomi kelautan Bali cukup melimpah yang meliputi perikanan, terdiri dari perikanan tangkap, aquacultur, dan industri pengolahan, industri bioteknologi kelautan, wisata bahari, angkutan antar pulau dan antar provinsi, dan sumber daya non-konvensional seperti potensi Ocean Thermal Energy Conservation yang sangat tinggi di Laut Bali Utara, industri air laut dalam, dan industri garam yang juga sangat potensial. Dalam konteks pembangunan pariwisata Bali, laut adalah potensi pengembangan wisata bahari di sepanjang garis pantai Bali. Wisata bahari memungkinkan potensi wilayah laut masing-masing daerah dapat dikembangkan, tidak harus sama satu dengan yang lain. Hal ini memungkinkan terjadinya diversifikasi objek wisata, sehingga masing-masing daerah di Bali memiliki kekhasan yang menjadi daya tarik pariwisata. Dengan pariwisata bahari, pariwisata akan berkembang dengan ekosistem laut yang tetap lestari, tetapi dapat memberikan kesejahteraan masyarakat. Semua potensi tersebut dikembangkan dengan menerapkan praktik nilai-nilai kearifan lokal Bali, dengan menghindari praktik eksploitasi secara berlebihan, dengan pengembangan blue economy berlandaskan nilai-nilai kearifan lokal alam dan budaya Bali akan tetap lestari, sementara masyarakat Bali akan hidup lebih sejahtera. Bapak Menteri dan hadirin yang berbahagia, demikianlah yang dapat saya sampaikan pada kesempatan yang terhormat ini. Semoga pikiran yang jernih datang dari segala penjuru. Taksu, vibrasi kesucian dan keindahan alam Bali, serta keramah tamahan masyarakatnya akan memberikan kekuatan dan inspirasi bagi seluruh peserta, sehingga pertemuan ini akan berlangsung dengan baik, lancar, dan sukses, serta menghasilkan berbagai rumusan terbaik bagi pelestarian sumber air di seluruh dunia, serta dalam pemanfaatannya untuk kesejahteraan masyarakat global. Mudah-mudahan Bali dapat menjadi inspirasi bagi masyarakat dunia. Sekian dan terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om.
Terima kasih Bapak PJ Gubernur atas sambutannya. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, next the keynote speech on inclusive innovation in Indonesia Blue Economy will be delivered by the Minister of National Development Planning, Head of Bappenas, and to Mr. Suharso Monoarfa, the floor is yours.
Actually, mostly the participant here is speak Bahasa, and I'm asking to Amelia, may I deliver my speech in Bahasa? And she said, no. And I understand that you, Ibu Amelia, so we have two Amelia this morning in this room. You speak Bahasa very well. Yang saya hormati Pak Gubernur Bali SM Mahendra Jaya. So this name is make me confused because he has initial SM. Which is that one is belong to me, Suharso Monoarfa. and all the speakers, Pira Tortora, Ibu Amelia, and Rapahela Le Gufalo. Oh, belum datang. Julia Racer, and all the participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, dan selamat pagi. The blue economy presents an existing pathway to addressing global challenge, harnessing the enormous potential of our oceans and driving inclusive and sustainable development. As we delve into the topic of inclusive innovation in the blue economy, let us explore how the blue economy offers solutions to some of the most pressing challenges facing our planet. Firstly, the blue economy serves as a response to the triple crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution, and waste. Secondly, the blue economy gains significance due to its modalities, considering that around 70% of our planet is covered by water. The blue economy has large potential globally. The OECD report projects that the added value of the blue economy will reach $3 trillion in 2030. The report also estimated that the ocean economy could double its contribution by 2030 if the right policies and investment are made. In particular, the report highlighted the potential of emerging sectors such as offshore wind energy, aquaculture, and marine biotechnology to drive economic growth and create new jobs around 12 million by 2030. Other potential of blue economy are help reduce greenhouse gases and sustainable profits and investment with a value of $15 trillion. UNCTAD report highlight two promising sectors: seaweed farming and plastic substitute from seaweed. And the global market for seaweed has more than tripled in 2 decades, increasing from 4.5 billion in 2000 to 16.5 billion in 2022. There are great benefits of blue economy. We understand that blue economy is not just measured in terms of economic output, but also in terms of social and environment benefits, such as improving food security, providing jobs and reducing poverty, preserving marine biodiversity, as well as marine protection. Now, let's transition to discussing inclusive innovation policies that ensure shared prosperity, a crucial aspect of our approach to blue economy development. We are in Bappenas closely pay attention to inclusive innovation policies, which are guided by 3 pillars. First is social inclusiveness, industrial inclusiveness, and territorial inclusiveness. These 3 pillars are guide for policymaking that aims to ensure that the benefit of innovation are shared equitably among all stakeholders, that industries are inclusive and accessible to diverse actors, and that innovation is guided by the unique needs and priorities of different regions. As a step forward, Indonesia has launched the Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap to encourage the development of a sustainable and inclusive blue economy. The roadmap envisions sustainable management of diverse coastal and marine resources to create socio-economic prosperity, ensure a healthy marine environment, and strengthen resilience for the benefit of current and future generations. Blue economy will be the new engine of Indonesia economic growth. With Blue Economy Roadmap, Indonesia is committed to increase the contribution of maritime economy to Indonesia GDP from 2.9% to 15% in 2045. Indonesia has modalities for blue economy development, such as, yes, we have 17,000 islands connected by sea, and 65% of its territory is ocean, as well as Indonesia's strategic position in international shipping routes. The Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap highlights that blue economy is cross-sectoral ocean development. It promotes 8 priority sectors, which are fisheries and aquaculture, marine-based industry, trade, transportation, and logistics, marine tourism, marine renewable energy, marine biotechnology, and marine conservation, and sustainable management of ecosystem services. As written in the roadmap, some programs on inclusive and innovative approach to the blue economy have been delivered. For example, Nusa Penida, Bali, where coastal communities actively participate in managing marine protected areas in mangrove. Actually, this is not my speech, but I just read the article. In West Nusa Tenggara, small-scale seaweed processing industry stated adding value to marine products. And in Thousand Island, Jakarta, sustainable aquaculture practice minimize environmental impact. In Raja Ampat, local communities manage homestay and tourism programs by promoting sustainable marine tourism. And also in Bunaken, local dive guides receive training, unlocking higher skills and incomes. And other initiatives like Smart Fish Indonesia by the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fishery, and UNEP connects fishers with international markets across province, including Jambi, East Java, South Sulawesi, and East Nusa Tenggara. Indonesia also has the National Blue Agenda Action Partnership, which become a coordination platform fostering multi-sectoral cooperation. Lastly, in Kepulauan Seribu, Jakarta Reverse Osmosis Facility was developed for communities in small islands. One highlight of blue economy, Indonesia stands as the second largest producer of seaweed in the world, just after China. And almost 30% market is supplied by Indonesia. Of course, seaweed is very much potential to proceed to process into varieties of downstreaming products such as bioplastic, cosmetic, and foods. And I would like to show you also the best practice for the blue economy implementation in Papua Island. There's a startup called Container that collect plastic waste from people digitally to later recycle it. They are now also fish processing industry starting to invest in biak. Thus, fresh fish no longer need to be transported so far away to Java before being processed for export, and cannot be forgotten. Papua is a beautiful land which marine tourism has a great potential. As outlined in the Blue Economy Roadmap, Indonesia is committed to marine conservation by establishing marine protected area, and by 2030, we aim to protect about 10% of our waters, equivalent to approximately 32.5 million hectares. Currently, we have protected about 9% or 29.3 million hectares. According to the EVICA tools, 7 of our MPAs are sustainably managed, with Raja Ampat Marine Reserve being a notable example. Now I want to highlight fisheries in Indonesia. Some good practice have been implemented. First is improving digital aquaculture on auto feeder, water quality measurements, waste management, area management to increase productivity and production efficiency. This digitalization by one of startup contributing approximately 1.5% or 3.4 trillion to the sector GDPs in 2022. Besides, it also boosts productivity and efficiency. Number 2, implementing quota-based capture fisheries. As Indonesia effort to maintain sustainable fishing with an estimated fish stock of 12 million tons, currently utilizing less than 66.4% of its maximum sustainable yield, well below the FAO's 80% recommendation. Number 3, enhance quality and traceability through product certification and fishery improvement programs. Indonesia has secured MSC certification for tuna fishery in its eastern waters, covering 30,000 tons of skipjack and yellowfin tuna across 16 priority units. Indonesia also has great potential for ocean renewable energy. One of available technology is ocean thermal energy conversion, a method of generating electricity using the temperature difference between the ocean surface and deeper seawater. The other potential is offshore wind energy and tidal energy. I understand for this one, actually it's just close to Bali Strait, between Java and Bali. But I have no report. Is it still going on or not? Blue economy tourism is an innovative approach to tourism that embraces the principle of the blue economy. 8 of 10 priority tourism destination is marine-based tourism. Nusa Penida in Bali has developed ecotourism and marine conservation projects, including coral reef planting and turtle protection. Several resorts in Lombok have started using renewable energy and implementing environmentally friendly waste management system. Raja Ampat, which offers underwater beauty, implements various initiatives to protect coral reefs and marine life. There are strict regulations regarding fishing and tourism activities to ensure the sustainability of the ecosystem. Furthermore, Indonesia also has many world-class scuba diving locations, dive center and resort, as well as dive liveaboard destinations spread throughout Indonesia. Yes, now I'm close to my conclusion. And to conclude my article today, I would like to emphasize several key points as follows. First, Blue economy is a strategic action for the Indonesian development. Yes, that one is not no doubt. Second, blue economy promotes the sustainable and environmentally management of marine resources while enjoying the benefit of sources of economic growth. Third, blue economy development needs innovation and new technology ecosystem. Fourth, investment in the blue economy must be encouraged from both the public and private sector. I want to emphasize the collaboration between national and international alliance is essential. With the commitment and cooperation of all parties, I am confident that we can realize a sustainable blue economy that brings significant benefits to national development and well-being of our society. Alhamdulillah. I stop here. Thank you very much. Om Santi Santi Om.
Thank you for the speech. Mr. Minister, please kindly stay on stage.
Oh, yes.
And I would like to invite Acting Governor of Bali, Head of 4P Secretariat OECD, Counselor at CSIRO, Co-founder of ULU, Deputy Minister for Economic Affairs, Ministry of National Development Planning, Bappenas, Deputy Minister for Infrastructure Affairs, Ministry of National Development Planning, Bappenas, expert staff of the Minister of Bappenas for Development of Leading Sectors and Infrastructure to join Pak Menteri on stage for taking pictures. I will lead the countdown from 3. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. We invite you to return to your seat. Thank you. Well, thank you to Mr. Minister for the insightful and inspiring speech. We are truly grateful for your time and presence today. I understand that you have busy schedule. Please feel free to excuse yourself in their urgent matters that require your immediate attention. And the next agenda, we will continue to international panel discussion, so don't go anywhere. We still have panel discussion, international panel discussion after this, which will moderated by Bapak Teguh Sambodo later on. Thank you. And for the presentation material will be delivered by using barcode. And you can get the barcode on the register table. Once again, if you need the material for the presentation, you can scan the barcode on the registration table. Once again, if you need the material for the presentation, you can change the voucher given earlier to the registration table to get the material for the presentation. Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the international panel discussion today will be moderated by Bapak Teguh Sambodo, the expert staff to the Minister for Leading Sector and Infrastructure Development. Pak Teguh has been a crucial person for Indonesia's blue economy from the early stage up to now. So I invite Pak Teguh Sambodo to the stage.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending this event. This is a very important event for us to maintain our collaboration on how we can progress blue economy development in Indonesia. For today, panel discussion about blue economy innovation for shared prosperity, we are very privileged that there are speakers that already present in this event. And I would like to invite one by one of the speaker. But before that, I would like to welcome our distinguished guests from Land Ministry. Thank you, Ibu Giri, for attending. Ibu Giri is the Executive Secretary of the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, and also our distinguished guests from Bappenas and also other line ministries. First, I would like to invite the first speaker, Pierre Tortora, as the head for Paris Pact for People and Planet Secretariat of OECD. Please join me on the stage. And the second speaker is Ibu Actually, the second speaker will join us through online, Ibu Rafaela Le Guvelo. She is the expert from IUCN, and she will join us from Paris. It is early morning in Paris, and thank you for joining this event. Thank you, Ibu Rafaela. How are you? Thank you for very early in France to join us. The third speaker, I would like to invite Ibu Amelia Fifield from CSIRO. And then I would like also to invite Julia Reiser and also Michael Kingsbury from ULU. They are both founder and co-founder of ULU. And there will be two discussions. One of them will join us through online. Ibu Vivi Yulaswati, the Deputy Minister for Maritime Affairs and Natural Resources from the Ministry of National Development Planning, as well as Pak Ervan Maksum, Deputy Minister for Infrastructure from the Ministry of National Development Planning. So to start with, I would like to read briefly the bio of each of the speaker. Piera Tortora. Should I say Tortora? Tortora. The head of 4P Secretariat and head of Sustainable Ocean for All Initiative OECD. Piera joined OECD in 2014 as economist or policy analyst before becoming advisor multilateral development finance for 5 years, from 2016 until 2018. Since January 2019 to now, Piera focuses more on the ocean and serves both as the head of Sustainable Ocean for All Initiative and the head for Paris Pact for People and Planet. Welcome to Bali. Is it the first time for you to come to Bali?
Second time.
Second time, oh yeah, second time. Hopefully you will enjoy your stay in Bali.
I'm sure.
And then the second speaker, she's very special. Rafaela Le Guvelo she has a doctor in veterinary medicine and doctor in economics. And as a IUCN expert in close collaboration with the IUCN Ocean team, she has been developing a collection of case studies, including 2 in Indonesia, of marine conservation and many topics about blue economy. Rafaela is also well known for solo ocean windsurfing crossing world records performed between 2000 and 2006. The Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Mediterranean Sea. Very extensive experience. Thank you for joining us in the event. The third speaker, should I introduce her maybe in Bahasa, because she fluently speaks Bahasa, Ibu Amelia Fifield. Ibu Amelia adalah Director for CSIRO, and she's now based in Singapore as the CSIRO's Director Southeast Asia that works to build long-term partnership and platforms connecting Australia's National Science Agency with ASEAN and its member country governments and other Australian government agencies, as well as industry and development partners active in the region. She's fluent in Indonesia, and hopefully you will return in Indonesia sometime. Thank you. And now, Julia Reiser, co-founder and co-CEO of ULU. Julia is an oceanographer and a global expert in ocean plastic pollution. She holds a PhD in plastic waste, study plastic recycling, and one of the earliest members of the Ocean Cleanup, the Dutch non-profit developing technology to remove plastic from the seas. Today, Julia is the co-founder and co-CEO of Ulu, and maybe she will talk more about Ulu's material act like plastic, but made from farm seaweed. And Julia is joined by Michael, the co-founder of, also co-CEO of Ulu, and hopefully they will share with us their experience or this best practice that can become our reference in promoting innovation in blue economy. Without further ado, I would like to provide you, each of you 10 minutes, because we have limited time. So it is challenge for you because you need to share, but I will provide some time, more time for both of you to explain about Ulu. And I would like to invite Piera Tortora for the first sharing with us about the topic on how good practice of, on how the importance of partnership in blue economy development, learning from the Paris Pact for the people and the planet. And time is yours, Piera.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this event. Thank you so much to Indonesia for organizing this event and for inviting me. So in the past, I've been honored to be supporting Indonesia, as it was recalled this morning, in the development of the Blue Economy Framework. In my role as the head of the Sustainable Ocean for All initiative at the OECD. I also had the great privilege to participate in the ASEAN Blue Economy Forum last year at the invitation of Indonesia. But today I will present briefly some trends from that work, but I will mainly be here with my new hat as the head of the 4P Secretariat, so for, Paris Pact for People and the Planet, and I will tell you a little bit more about it. But first of all, again, thank you to Indonesia for the invitation, and really would like to commend Amalia Widyasyanti, so the Deputy Minister for Bappenas, for her incredible leadership on this topic, so thank you so much. I will start from the trends, and this is something that you have heard before already from the minister. So at the OECD, we have produced some projections some years ago, and we were showing that the ocean economy was projected to double in size between 2010 and 2030. And so to go from 1.5 trillion US dollars of value added to 3 trillions. So this is something that in the literature is called the blue acceleration, because in recent years, globally, there has been an incredible acceleration of economic activities taking place in the ocean or using ocean resources. And this includes both the intensification of existing activities in the ocean, like fisheries, but also the emergence of a new range of economic activities linked to the ocean, like biotechnologies, offshore wind energy, and others. And we do think that if managed sustainably, the sustainable ocean economy, or the regenerative ocean economy, as our colleague Rafaela will call it later, could really hold the keys to face some of the global challenges that we have ahead of us, like enhancing the clean energy mix, by supporting investments in offshore wind and other forms of clean energy like tidal, as we heard before, and other ocean energy forms. It could contribute to improve food security through not only aquaculture and fisheries, but also a growing range of blue foods. It's really commendable, for instance, that Indonesia is starting to invest more in seaweeds. And it could also contribute, of course, to combat climate change, because we know that the ocean is the largest carbon sink in the world. And so investments in natural marine ecosystems are really key to meet our climate objectives also. But let's also have a little of a reality check, because globally we're seeing that there is an acceleration in the economic activities happening in the ocean. But is this acceleration happening everywhere, and is it benefit everyone or all the countries? Well, the answer is no. And in fact, non-high-income countries, so developing countries, are actually in a paradoxical situation when it comes to the ocean economy. Because as you can see from the left-hand side, maybe from the right-hand side first, developing countries depend on ocean economy sectors much more than OECD countries. For OECD countries, the ocean economy is about 2% of their GDP. But for developing countries, coastal tourism alone can actually account for 20% of their GDP. So it's a much broader, much stronger reliance that developing countries have on the ocean economy. But at the same time, when we look at value added from the ocean economy globally, we see this paradoxical finding that developing countries account for a small fraction of it. And most of the value added is captured by high-income countries. So this is clearly a trend that needs to be reversed, we think. And there's really a need for opening up also opportunities for developing countries so that they can tap into the potential of the sustainable regenerative ocean economy. And this is important also because developing countries at the same time are at the forefront of some of the largest impacts that are affecting the ocean economy, including plastic pollution, rise in ocean temperature. You see there a whole range of impacts. So the way that, because of the stronger reliance of developing countries on the ocean economy, we really believe that the way that ocean economy sectors will develop in the future could either accelerate progress towards sustainable development or really exacerbate some of the unsustainable trends that we're witnessing right now. And so it's really critical to get it right. Now, how do we get it right? Here I try to just encapsulate three main areas that I think are important going forward to really make sure that the ocean economy becomes an opportunity for sustainable development and not just another frantic economic activity taking place without regards to the natural environment. So the first thing I would say, there is really a need for an holistic cross-sectoral approach in the ocean economy that integrates all dimensions of sustainability. So this means that it's really important to consider to take in consideration different ocean uses in an integrated manner, really to understand what are the trade-offs and what are the synergies across those ocean uses. So later we will hear, and this is so important, very concrete examples of different parts of the ocean economy, but it's really important for countries to have a vision about how the ocean economy overall needs to develop and what are the synergies and trade-offs that can be there and mitigate them. And so in this perspective, I think that what Indonesia has been doing with the Blue Economy Framework and Roadmap is really commendable, because it's really developing and implementing that cross-sectoral vision. Then next, when it comes to the blue economy, sustainable ocean economy, and I think definition is a big issue, but Rafael again will talk about it. In a way, many activities happening in the ocean economy are new, and they're new for everybody, not just for developing countries. So there is an unprecedented opportunity for sharing experiences and learning together. So sharing experiences across different countries, developing countries, OECD countries. And I think what is also very important, and that's my third point, is that sometimes in the international scene, the discussions on the blue economy are happening in a way in a silo. So there is a whole discussion on how to reform the international financing system, how to foster the ecological transitions. And the blue economy is very much part of it, but very often we're not discussing it as being part of this bigger picture. So I think that this is the last 2 points. So the first point is very much up to the countries, and again, I commend Indonesia for their efforts in this. But on the second and third point, I think that this is where international cooperation is very important, and this is where also I'm happy here to talk to you a little bit about the Paris Pact for People and the Planet, and how perhaps it can help in sharing experiences and also connecting the blue economy to the broader agendas. So what is the Paris Pact for People and the Planet? Last year in June, the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, called a summit in Paris where he invited a number of heads of states and other stakeholders around a new global pact for financing. In fact, the recognition is that the international financing architecture is not really delivering on development, so it's not really delivering for developing countries, and it's not also really delivering on climate agenda, on the blue agenda. So through this summit, countries, and at the time about countries, agreed on the need to really support and accelerate efforts to reform the international financing architecture and its various pillars. So right now, 1 year after, I'm happy to tell you that we now have, from about 30 countries last year, now we have 54 countries who are part of the Paris Pact for People and the Planet. Indonesia is one of the countries who has signed up to the Paris Pact for People and the Planet, and I'm very happy about that. The map is actually not up to date because the number of countries continues to grow. But as you see, there is many countries that are also very much interested in the blue economy, and in our conversations with them, this is a topic that they also bring up very often. So the way that the work is now organized, we have a special envoy of the 4P, and this is Macky Sall. So he's the former president of Senegal. We have a 4P secretariat. I'm the head of the 4P secretariat, and I have a small team with me. And we're hosted at the OECD, but as you may understand, it's a special entity at the OECD because the membership is different, and we have 44 members, so much larger number than the OECD. And of course, we're also working with all 54 countries, but also with what we call the Friends of 4P, so a large number also of philanthropies, private sector entities, etc. We have, the work is now articulated around a number of coalitions. Different countries across the 54 countries of the 4P take the lead on different topics, and these are all falling under some key pillars of the financing reform, including debt, private finance, innovative financing, and energy, and I'll be happy to tell you more about it. But I think here, what I would like to see and what I really would like to work on with Indonesia and other countries is to have also a specific, perhaps, coalition on the blue economy, so that it can be connected to this broader agenda on the international financing reform. I will skip this one, but it's just to tell you that we're also connecting to the different discussions in the G7, G20 around the international financing. But what the 4P provides is really a platform where countries, small and big, high-income countries, low-income countries, small island states, larger countries, can get together and can become driving forces of change. So they can coalesce around a positive agenda, and they can use the 4P as really a matching place to find other partners with whom they want to accelerate efforts on specific topics. And the 4P can really be an amplifier of messages to elevate also politically some of the initiatives that the 4P countries are delivering on. And we have a very, the 4P has been endorsed for most of the countries at the highest political level, so really at the head of states level, but also has this technical level work that is supporting to develop specific solutions and helping to share good practices. I'm almost done. We have ahead of us a number of key milestones for this year and the next, including we're just back from the spring meetings where we had a ministerial of the 4P, and I think this year we're also really targeting the Summit of the Future of the UN later, and also the COP to make an important contribution. But I think there's also some other opportunities for us to look forward to, and I'm specifically thinking about the ASEAN Blue Economy Forum, which has been recalled and will take place in August, but also looking at the next year at the UN Third Ocean Conference. These are international milestones that we could use to really use the 4P to agree on specific actions, coalitions, and step-up efforts for the blue economy, so that the efforts of Indonesia could really be connected to the efforts of other countries worldwide. So I think I'll stop here. I'm very happy to answer any questions, and very much looking forward also to the interventions of the other panelists. Thank you so much.
Please give a round of applause for Piera. Thank you, Piera. And it is interesting that Piera has highlighted there is a paradox in the world on how we can accelerate the development of blue economy. But at the same time, we are actually need to be wise and work together, collaborate, see things through different dimensions, and to expand collaboration. And also one of the solutions that you offer is on how we can improve the tap into regenerative blue ocean. And this is very relevant for the next topic that will be presented by Rafaela Legovelo from the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Maybe, Rafaela, can you hear me? Okay. So you have 10 minutes, and maybe some of your presentation also will highlight us about the experience in Derawan or in other countries that we can learn from on how we can accelerate blue economy innovation for shared prosperity. So 10 minutes is yours. Not yet. Could you assist with the screen? Could you wait? Yeah. Yes. Okay. You can start. Thank you.
Good morning, and Your Excellencies and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm really happy to be here talking to you. Thank you so much for this invitation. Thank you for the event, and we are very grateful to have the opportunity to present our work on the regenerative blue economy. Thank you, Piera, to introduce it. And it is great to see you again. Thanks to discuss this and indeed in humanity rights at this OECD meeting. And so we actually made this even for me possible. My sincere apologies for not being with you, but you have in the room Nightingale from the IUCN Asia team.
most of the traditional activities that you have, which were in the maritime sector. It merges with the ocean economy and sorry, a conventional way of thinking, like the business as usual, with some of the things that just Pierre mentioned, with all some potential problems. And since the end of the 20th century, high economic and social expectations were put behind this blue growth, and with a view of building blue gross domestic products. The scope of this blue economy is very broad. Once you have the link with the marine environment, marine activities, but sometimes also freshwater activities are included in. And the blue economy is associated with traditional bookkeeping consisting of economic macro indicators of profitability, job employments, etc. Most conventional economic indicators for the moment. And then we started to talk about sustainable blue economy by the year 2012. That's when the term blue economy appeared, and it was a United Nations summit. And it was understood that blue economy was still all the maritime activities, but of course it had to be part of a sustainable development approach. In 2015, for instance, WWF proposed a vision, definition, guiding principles for this sustainable blue economy. And you have lots of work which was made at this time also by the OECD, by the World Bank, trying to push the vision of the sustainable blue economy that becomes including the health of the oceans, more inclusive, and the fair growth, and also integrating good governance tools and all these aspects, because it has to be in a sustainable blue economy. And activities to protect, restore marine and coastal ecosystem services were included into this approach. But in terms of key performance indicators and so on, the debate is still quite open to actually define how we can measure and evaluate, assess this the economic performance of this sustainable blue economy. So the last recent trend is coming, with this regenerative blue economy, and perhaps the demand for this regenerative blue economy is coming from a much older time, brought by the people of the seas, and like, for instance, the Pacific Island countries, and for coastal people, the sea people, the challenges of protecting the health, keeping the health of the marine ecosystem, those challenges are vital, because the livelihoods, the fate, the future of these people is depending on the oceans. So this vision goes much beyond just the economic sphere. It has to be integrative, inclusive, and regenerative, and it advocates for an economic model which has to be different from the business as usual. Definition of this regenerative blue economy goes more in the idea of being more active in the fight against climate change and the biodiversity losses. We have to contribute positively to these issues, and we have to create some kind of an ocean positive economy. And in this vision, where the term regenerative was introduced by 2020 onwards with the ocean decade, certain activities then must be excluded, because they are not part, for instance, of a low or zero carbon future, like, for instance, oil and gas activities, but also some activities considered too dangerous, like deep sea mining, because we don't have enough information, or we are a bit frightened about the consequences for these very fragile ecosystems. And regular traditional activities like fishing, aquaculture, and tourism, they must go their way to improve their practices. So new activities like blue carbon could be part of this regenerative blue economy, but also, again, you need the good practices to make sure that we are on the right tracks. So in economic terms, we are more thinking of something of a strong sustainability, but still, everything has to be done to open the debate on how we can evaluate this regenerative blue economy. And there are some initiatives like the Ocean Impact Navigator proposed for the 1000 Startup Coalition, which is quite interesting in terms of evaluation, for instance. So within this scope, with the IUCN in this report, we have gone through the definitions. We have defined 3 types of blue economy. And we think there is the need to have some kind of a consistency between what you want, the vision you want to have, and also the principles and the way do you implement your blue economy. So to go right in this, to this direction, we are proposing a definition of a regenerative blue economy, which is here on your screen. And I leave you read it slowly because we don't have time. But we have also started to define founding principles. And please, have in mind, for instance, for this regenerative blue economy, we think that it is really important that, as a number 1 principle, we have to focus on the good health of the ocean, the marine ecosystems, because they are vital for the peoples. So this is the first principle. And then the second principle is more related to the economic system. There is a need to have something different. And we have to make priorities for inclusiveness, fairness, solidarity, sharing, collaboration, etc., etc. And then in the principle 3, we are also insisting upon the fact that there is a need of transparent, participatory governance system with good scientific data and also shared and transparent, because we have to go together. The system must be adaptive because it's a way to go, and it must be based upon also international collaboration, just like today. So we have, as a principle 4, and I think we'll listen to a very good example after me, we have to focus also on low carbon, zero carbon activities, how we can decarbonate all the activities related to the marine environments. And also we have to include circular economy principles. We have to work on the waste. And for instance, the plastic issues is really something quite significant issues. And the last point for us, it's also the fact that we need to include the savoir-faire, recognize the traditions of the people of the sea, and we need to focus on the island countries, the coastal islands, because they are the ones who are really depending on the ocean and also facing these big issues we have with climate change. So yes, in Indonesia, we should say, and I was very pleased to listen to the talk of the ministries, in the Indonesian Blue Economy Roadmap, there are clear common features between the vision we have of the regenerative blue economy and the Indonesian one. And in the past, we had already explored in the past, in previous programs with the IUCN's 2 case studies that could now be considered within this regenerative blue economy framework. And the question is in fact now to see how we can go any further. How does the regenerative blue economy require innovation to uplift the state of marine and coastal social ecological systems? So rapidly, the two examples are here. You have the map, sorry, it's in French. They're both in the Derawan region and in Kalimantan region, sorry. And the first one was, the first casting was in Derawan Island with the mine protected areas, and it was documented during the COVID years, thanks to the local teams of TNC, ICANN, who were behind the work done, really great work. This work is part of a collection we have with the IUCN on the synergies between marine protected areas and aquaculture protection and coastal communities. And this is the Aqua Coco program, which was supported by the French development agencies. In this particular case, for instance, we highlight the synergies that you have between these marine protected areas and the people practicing pond culture in those mangrove areas. And you know how it is important to protect the mangroves because of all the services they provide and all the key species which are living in the mangroves. So here we have a pretty good example of, one type of production, small scale, extensive, multi-species pond production, very robust system and very important for the communities. And that would be done with mangrove, seagrass bed and coral reef restoration conservation efforts. And the MPA, of course, is playing a role to make sure that we have good practices.
Thank you.
And then the last, sorry, I have to go fast. Yeah, so the second example is about the shrimp production also, and it's using the nature-based standard that we have and we are promoting with the IUCN. So it's the same made system, extensive protection of shrimps with mangrove restoration, but perhaps a little bit further, because there is here the action of planting or restoring mangroves in those areas. So yes, today now, we are looking at different cases in different countries where there is a move towards a blue economy and a regenerative blue economy, including the sector of aquaculture, because it's also a bit my field and my specialty. But in Indonesia, for instance, it would be very interesting to further look at case studies and to collaborate with the Indonesian multi-stakeholders, with BAPENAS, to see how we can go further and try to build together this regenerative blue economy. Sorry if I'm too long, but I'm talking from a long distance, and well, sorry.
Thank you, Rafaela, for the insights. Please give her a round of applause. And I think this is a good time also to see some of the recommendation and also lesson learned that has been shared by Rafaela with the initiatives by CSIRO, Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, on how this regenerative blue economy can be further promoted and mainstream, not only at the policy level, but also in practical level around the stakeholders, including people maybe in the coastal area, as well as with the business sectors. So good practices on plastic management in the Pacific Plastic Innovation Hub that has been started by CSIRO maybe can be the starting point for the presentation. Time is yours, Bu Amelia.
Testing. Thank you, Pak Teguh. I'd like to start by acknowledging His Excellency Bapak Menteri Suharto Mono Arfa, Ibu Winnie, Pak Irfan, Pak Teguh, for your leadership in this space. So my name's Amelia Fifield. I'm CSIRO's Director for Southeast Asia. And we've heard a lot this morning about the blue economy, but we all know that the blue economy is really dependent upon healthy waterways and a healthy ocean. And one of the biggest threats to our healthy waterways and healthy oceans is the issue of plastic waste. So today you'll hear from me about three things. You'll hear from me a little bit about CSIRO, Australia's National Science Agency. You'll hear quite a lot more about our Indo-Pacific Plastics Innovation Network. And lastly, you'll hear how you can get involved, because I was talking to Pa Irfan this morning and we were talking about the importance of practical initiatives in this space. So I very much hope that all of you either get involved or know somebody who you'd like to introduce to get involved in the network. So CSIRO is Australia's National Science Agency, and as you see here, our mission is solving our greatest challenges through research and innovation. However, I thought I'd start my presentation with a very quick audience participation activity. I wanted to see a show of hands for anybody who's wearing contact lenses this morning. So, ada yang memakai soft lens? I know I'm one of them. We've got a few hands up the back. I usually ask this question because CSIRO is focused on delivering technologies that provide impact in the real world. And one of the technologies that we're best known for is long-wear contact lenses. Another example that I do like to use is if I'm in a meeting room, I'll ask, is there Wi-Fi in the room? And somebody usually runs around and tries to find a Wi-Fi password, and I say, nope, just asking, because Wi-Fi is another of the technologies that CSIRO is well known for having invented, and it's something that impacts, I think, daily lives, not just across Australia, but really across the world, and that's what we as an organisation are very focused on. So as I've said, CSIRO, we're Australia's National Science Agency, and we're about solving our greatest challenges through innovative science and technology. We, as an organisation, have 57 offices across Australia, as well as sites across Southeast Asia. So our headquarters is in Southeast Asia, is in Singapore, where I'm based, but we also have an office here, and my colleague Felia is here from our Jakarta office. We also have teams based in Vietnam and Thailand as well. But as an organisation, we have close to 5,500 dedicated scientists, and that makes us one of the world's largest multidisciplinary science agencies. And we focus on achieving impact in the work that we do. So changing our world, delivering, solving our greatest challenges, we know that we can't do that alone. So delivering impact is something that we do really through partnerships and with a focus on commercialisation. So in terms of partnerships, you see there we have close to 2,500 partners, and we have partners in more than 80 countries across the world. In terms of commercialisation, as an organisation, we see that as a pathway to making sure that the work that we're doing in our laboratories achieves impact in the real world. So we have a really strong track record of commercialisation as well. You'll see there we have close to 700 patent families. That makes us the biggest patent holder in Australia. We have close to 500 active licences, which mean that those patents, those technologies are actually being applied in the real world. We also pride ourselves on being, and you'll see there our second tagline is, we pride ourselves on being Australia's innovation catalyst. And what that really means is that we work very closely, not just with our own researchers, but with researchers from across Australia's university sector to make sure that the fundamental research that's being done in our universities is translated into commercial applications that make sure that that technology really sees the light of day. One of the key ways that we do this is through a program that CSIRO has developed. It's Australia's National Deep Tech Accelerator Program. It's called the ON program. This has been running since 2015, and it's been incredibly successful. The teams now have attracted, I think, close to $305 million in grants to support ongoing development of those technologies that have been run through the accelerator program, and close to $311 million in follow-on investment to ensure that companies that have been created through that program continue to achieve impact. Now, 30% of each cohort are CSIRO researchers, but 70% of participants actually come from Australia's broader university and other research organisations. So it very much is about not just our own research, but ensuring that all of Australian research can achieve commercial outcomes. CSIRO itself has a very strong track record of spinning out companies. So we have close to 170 spin-out companies with a market capitalisation of close to, I think at last count, 1.4 billion Australian dollars. So often we joke about CSIRO being Australia's 5th unicorn. But I know that we're here today to talk about blue economy, and so I wanted to talk about the work that our organisation has done to establish the Indo-Pacific Plastics Innovation Network. So we know that CSIRO is a mission-driven organisation, and so for us it's been really important to think about ending plastic waste as a mission. But that's a mission that should involve not just Australia, because we know that Australia's challenges in this space are really, you know, if you look at the graph here, or the diagram here, fairly small in relation to the challenges that our broader region are having. So that dark blue area there shows you where the real nexus of the challenge is going to be most acute over the next 10 years. And because of that, when we were establishing CSIRO's Ending Plastic Waste mission, we were very focused on making sure that we were partnering with the right organisations in our neighbourhood to make sure that the science that we're doing in Australia to address plastic waste has maximum impact. So we established what we call our Indo-Pacific Plastics Innovation Network, and we did this with a vision for supporting the design and scale-up of disruptive technologies that can shift the dial on plastic waste across our region. So I guess what we wanted to be able to do was to bring together, you know, the best of our learnings through the ON Deep Tech Accelerator program from Australia, focus that around an issue of bilateral concern that we share with Indonesia, but more broadly with partners in Southeast Asia, to make sure that we're supporting local partners, both to develop their innovation capacity, but also to address plastic waste and support blue economy initiatives. So we work very closely with national science agencies in each of the 3 countries where we've established chapters. So in Indonesia, we work very closely with Kemendikbudristek and the Keraika team, as well as NPAP in Indonesia. In Thailand, we work with the National Science and Technology Development Agency, and in Vietnam, we work with their Ministry of Science and Technology. So this is very much a partnership that we focus on with research agencies in the countries where we work to ensure that we're building innovation capacity as well as addressing the plastics problem. What we've done with partners in each of those countries is to focus on a co-design process where we've looked at the whole value chain, where we've asked a whole range of different stakeholders from government, from industry, from research, from NGOs about who's already doing what in this space, because we didn't want to build something that was duplicative. And then we've identified, you know, where are the real gaps? Where's innovation desperately needed but not necessarily happening? And through that process, we've identified 3 challenge statements where we call for teams to co-innovate with us. Challenge 1 is about shifting the relationship with plastics from single use towards circularity. Challenge 2 is about strengthening collection and recycling systems at the end of the value chain. And challenge 3 is a cross-cutting challenge which talks about reliable data capture and making sure that data is available to different actors along the value chain to help maximise our ability to capture value from plastics as they move through that value chain. So the IPIN program itself supports what we call seed to scale innovation. We start with ideation, where we bring together a whole range of actors from across different walks of life to generate, and usually we generate up to 100 different possible project ideas through through that ideation process at the beginning of each program cohort. Then we offer an incubation program where the focus is very much on validating those ideas, making sure that teams are not just working away quietly in the lab, but making sure that they've talked to industry partners, that they've talked to government partners, that they've talked to diverse audiences about whether that solution will make sense and will actually have a pathway to commercialisation. Then we offer an acceleration stream where the focus is much more on, once the teams have a minimum viable product, helping those teams to develop a business model and an investment thesis that's actually going to resonate in the broader market and with industry partners. And finally, in the scale-up space, we offer a grants program that supports the most prospective teams to actually demonstrate their technologies at scale with industry partners. So we're a relatively new organisation. We established our first chapter in Indonesia, I'm proud to say, back in 2022. And we've since launched programs in Vietnam and in Thailand. To date, we have provided more than $1.5 million Australian dollars in grants to support teams that have come out of the program to commercialise technologies, and very proud to say that to date, those teams have accessed more than $6 million in follow-on funding to help take their ideas to scale. And to date, we've had more than 300 participants in the program. All of our programs are delivered in language, so if you're more comfortable speaking in Indonesian or in Thai or in Vietnamese or Lao or Cambodian, you can participate in the program with the confidence that it will be delivered in language. I thought I'd give you just a couple of very quick examples of teams that have participated in the program and what they're doing now. So the winners of our very first cohort in 2022 were a team from Indonesia called Green Hope. They're a company that is developing bioplastics from sustainably sourced cassava. It's a really fantastic technology, and to date they've worked with more than 70 farming families from impoverished areas of eastern Indonesia and have made a huge dent in terms of reducing the use of single-use plastics, which is really encouraging. Another team that we've worked with from Indonesia is a team called Geotrash Management, who are based again in eastern Indonesia, in Lombok. And in 2023, they received a competitive grant from IPIN to help them partner with Australia's process engineering industry to design and commission the first plastic oil distillation plant in Indonesia. So a team that, again, is going really strong with support from the program. The third example I thought I'd give you is actually a team of researchers from CSIRO who have developed a product that, if you're a keen gardener, you might be familiar with the black plastic that we spread over our garden beds to stop weeds growing, to keep the moisture in. It's a great product and used extensively in horticulture across the region, but it's a problem at the end of life because it's costly to remove and it's dirty, low value, so it does not tend to get recycled. So our researchers had developed a product that is a sprayable, biodegradable polymer mulch, which means that at the end of its life, it actually dissolves into the soil and leaves no harmful chemical residues, which is a great product. But when they started engaging with partners in Southeast Asia through our program, they realised very quickly that they needed to make some tweaks to the product. They needed to ensure that it was suitable for growing conditions in Indonesia, so different rainfall, different soils, different crops, but also, if you see the picture there, you'll see that they're applying that spray in Australia using a tractor, whereas what they found is that in Indonesia, those types of sprays are usually applied by people in the field with backpack sprayers, and so they had to tweak the formulation. But through their engagement in the program, they're now working with one of Indonesia's largest agricultural input providers to do field trials in Java with funding support from the program and really looking to scale their technology. And they've had follow-on investment of now close to $5 million, which is really, really encouraging for that team. So, as I mentioned, we have two programs, an incubator program and an accelerator program, which will be running this year. Applications for our incubator program have just closed, but I thought today that I would talk a little bit more about our accelerator program because we're just opening for applications this week. So, this is a little bit about the program timeline. The accelerator program this year will run for 13 weeks, so it's a 3-month program, and it's really tailored to support teams to do what they need to do to validate their technology, but then fundamentally to build a business model around it and take it to scale. This gives you a little bit more about what you'll experience in the 13 weeks, but it really is a tailored offering to support early stage ventures, to be able to build your confidence, but also build networks and validate technologies with support from Australia's National Science Agency. So this is the participative section of the program as well. I have 3 QR codes, so I would like to see a lot of people with phones out. Applications are now open, as I've said, for our accelerator program. So if you or somebody you know has an idea for a practical innovation that can really shift the dial on plastic waste, I encourage you to share this information with them, encourage them to check out the application form and hopefully to get involved. I also thought I'd mention very quickly that if you're interested in broader work that CSIRO is doing around plastics waste, we will be hosting Ending Plastic Waste Symposium in Melbourne, my hometown, in August this year. We're very much looking forward to inviting Ibu Winnie to be involved in that program, so hope to see you there, Ibu. But if you'd like to learn more, scan this QR code. And then lastly, if you'd like to keep in touch with the Indo-Pacific Plastics Innovation Network, please feel free to join our mailing list, and we look forward to hearing from you. This last slide is about the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of plastic waste. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing a little bit from me about Australia's National Science Agency, our Indo-Pacific Plastics Innovation Network, and looking forward to getting you involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ibu Amelia. Thank you for sharing some of the examples on how the innovation solution can be applied in Indonesia. And one of them, maybe we can also discuss about what ULU has started. Maybe the innovation, the materials, that later on maybe can become one of the solutions that we revert to, we discuss, and maybe we apply maybe in the future. So time is yours for Julia and Michael.
Thank you very much. Yeah, first of all, thank you for the Indonesian government for inviting us to participate in this important event, and also CSIRO from supporting our travels. So today we're going to be talking about ULU, which is a startup that aims to replace plastic at scale with a material that is derived from our oceans and help us do 3 things for our world. First one is to empower coastal communities with sustainable jobs. Secondly, also help us tackle climate change, and you're going to learn a little bit more about that during our presentation. And finally, also help us with boosting ocean health. But before we go on, I would like to take a bit of a moment to remind us that plastic brings many benefits to our society. For instance, it protects our food, which decreases the amount of organic waste that we produce. Secondly, it allows us to enjoy the outdoors with clothes that actually protect us from the weather. And finally, in many areas, it actually helps us to decrease our carbon footprint, for instance, by making our cars lightweight, yet durable. But unfortunately, this type of material is also creating damage to our health and to our planet. It's produced with fossil fuels. It releases a lot of microplastics and nanoplastics during use. And then at the end of its life, is creating a persistent kind of pollution that's accumulated in lands, rivers, and also our oceans. At ULU, we've developed a natural material that delivers those things that we love about plastics. It's lightweight, it's waterproof, you can melt and remelt, but at the same time is reusable, recyclable, and most importantly, biodegradable. You can home compost, and if somehow gets lost at sea, it will eventually biodegrade as well. And what we are very excited about it is as we scale this industry that produces this material, we can actually tackle 3 big planetary issues that we currently have. The first one, of course, is plastic pollution. So we believe that by making this natural material with farmed seaweed, we have what it takes to decouple our polymers market, which is producing about 400 million tons of plastic every year from both fossil fuels and persistent pollution, while also decreasing the amount of carbon pollution we have in our oceans, so helping us tackle climate change. And finally, also cleaning up our oceans. So our oceans at the moment have a lot of excess nitrogen from things like sewage, in industrial runoff, by actually creating more demand for farmed seaweed. If we do that in the right way, it can clean the oceans from that, and at the same time create sustainable job on coastal communities that often rely on overfishing to survive. So we can bring them this sustainable industry, which is very important. In this slide, it just illustrates this unique technology that we developed in Australia with the support of our R&D partners, which include CSIRO. But in a nutshell, the first thing we do is we farm seaweed in collaboration with farming cooperatives here in Indonesia. Then we bring that seaweed into our plant, where the first step of what we do is we extract the sugars from that seaweed. Then we take those seaweed sugars and we feed to microbes that grow inside fermenters. What's special about the microbe is that it can digest the seaweed sugars and grow inside them what's called PHA. So PHA is our material and is like the fat of the microbe. And then when our fermenters are full of microbes and they are fed with this PHA, which is our product, we then go into this step of extracting those PHAs and then melting it down into what's called pellets. Pellets is what a plastic manufacturer purchase to make plastic products. And in our case, we produce a plastic-free pellet that a plastic manufacturer can choose to buy from us rather than a plastic pellet from a petrochemical company. And what that means is that they can use their existing machinery to produce now a material that's supporting the communities on the ground and is truly biodegradable, giving us more options at the end of its life, including composting. And this video is just to help you better visualize where we are at in our journey and how these materials are produced and why we do it. My name is Julia Heinze. I am an oceanographer by background, originally from Brazil.
My name is Michael Kingsbury. I joined Ulu after a few years of being interested in science and technology and building businesses.
So our Ulu, in a nutshell, we're basically fermenting seaweed into this natural plastic-like material. And what we're very excited about this material is that it can replace plastic while being good for the world.
My name is David Chiukarugude. So what we do in the first stage is we get seaweed, cook it. That's a simple term for hydrolysis. We break it down into simple sugars and then turn that into a soup or media, like the biologists will say, that we would use to grow bacteria. And then we get out something called PHAs, polyhydroxyalkanoates. Those are the biodegradable plastics. And then we take this polymer bits, and then extrude them and mold them into pellets, which you can convert into anything. So anything that can be molded from plastic can be molded from our material.
The problem we're trying to solve is a planetary challenge, which is plastic pollution. Creating a material that has the potential to replace plastic at scale, whilst also using a feedstock that isn't fossil fuels, but something that is renewable, scalable, sustainable. Seaweed's an awesome feedstock, both from an economic perspective, but also from an environmental perspective. It absorbs a lot of carbon dioxide from the environment, and it also absorbs marine pollutants, so things like fertilisers and industrial runoff that enter our waterways and oceans. So it's a great marine crop that we really want to scale up more of, and then we're incentivising that through Ulu.
I am super positive about the future. I think humanity can move very quickly in terms of change. Can't wait to create the better future and be working hard to help create that.
Hi everyone, so I'm Michael. And I'm just going to go through now why we believe Ulu is uniquely positioned to overcome the 3 key challenges associated with bioplastics today. So the first challenge relates to the feedstocks that are used. The feedstocks are either crops, so things like palm oil, which can create deforestation and use loads of fresh water and synthetic fertilizers, or waste streams, things like food waste or wastewater, which are problematic because they're hard to scale. They require expensive reverse logistics to bring them together. In contrast to those feedstocks, we love seaweed. So seaweed is something that gets everything it needs from the sun and the sea. And it's scalable. You can have farms in Indonesia, but Japan and China, which could be thousands of hectares in size. So you can really start to aggregate that feedstock that allows you to build large factories and get those economies of scale that are so important in manufacturing. The second key issue related to bioplastics is the material properties that we see today. They either behave like paper and soak up rather than repel water. Repelling water is something we like about plastic. We want that from our materials in many cases. And so the existing bioplastics, some of them tend to be more relevant to niche markets. On the other hand, you have materials that behave too much like plastic and don't biodegrade easily. So if they get into the environment, they're going to create persistent pollution just like plastic does. We're big believers in PHAs, which Julia just mentioned, which are natural materials. So they're produced by nature, nature understands them, and nature can break them back down again at the end of their life. But they have this really unique superpower in that they actually behave like plastic during use. They're widely regarded an emerging type of material that can replace most, if not all, plastics that we see today. And then the final issue that we need to overcome is cost. So current processes are very expensive, 2 to 6 times more expensive than conventional plastics. That's a result of those expensive crop feedstocks, but also relatively inefficient production processes. At Ulu, through a combination of using seaweed with our unique saltwater production process, which means that we don't have as much sterilisation as other fermentation processes, in addition to allowing us to have a very clean water-based extraction process, we can reduce that cost of production over time to ultimately compete with conventional plastics on price. So getting into that $2 to $3 per kilogram ballpark. Cool. Nice. So this is our projected climate emissions, or carbon emissions, sorry. And as you can see in red, there are emissions from cultivation of seaweed through to our pellets, so our product. In blue, you have where we can sequester or avoid carbon emissions. And I'll just run through these very briefly. So the first key area where we can sequester carbon is through the process of seaweed farming. Seaweed is a very floppy marine crop that some of its biomass gets shed off into the ocean and becomes sequestered in ocean sediments. So you may have heard of blue carbon, so this is an example of that. The other key area where we can avoid carbon is that seaweed is it doesn't just contain the sugars that we use for fermentation, it also contains proteins and lipids. And once we extract those sugars, we're left with a biomass that now has almost 60% protein. And that means we can use it to replace animal proteins in feeds and potentially even human consumption, further offsetting those carbon-intensive commodities. We then have, obviously, the carbon that is locked in durable goods, for instance. And because we're not using plastic anymore, plastic is very carbon intensive, we can offset those emissions as well. And ultimately, when you net out those things, we're left with a material that can offset up to 5 times its own weight in carbon emissions, which is quite exciting. Oh, sorry. So currently, we are doing a lot of work in Indonesia. We spend a lot of time in Sulawesi and in Surabaya, or East Java, where we've actually established a business or joint venture to scale up traceable seaweed farming, working with cooperatives on the ground. Indonesia is in a very strategic position to become at the forefront of new materials economy, and we're very lucky and proud to be working closely with Indonesia. We also have an R&D test facility in Perth currently in Western Australia, which you can see there, where we're producing small volumes of our materials each week for customer trials and to demonstrate process repeatability prior to then taking our process to the next scale, so scaling up that process. These are our next steps. So at the bottom there, you can see our test plant. So we're operating in Perth. And as we move towards commercial operations, we want to build a demo plant this year to be based in Indonesia. And ultimately, all things going well, we would then scale up that to a large commercial facility. And yeah, we are very keen and excited about investing in Indonesia to do so, and ensuring that that downstream processing, that value-added processing, is retained in country, and ensuring that those benefits flow through to ultimately to the farmers that make this all possible. So yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for listening, and yeah, if you have any questions, we have some samples as well. If you're interested in talking with us further about it, we'd love to show you. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Julia and Michael. Now, so we have discussed from the macro level, learning from the collaboration at the global level, and then we learn about the new concept of regenerative blue economy. There is beyond or above the only sustainable blue economy. And then see the solution that have been started regionally, and how CSIRO also as one of the leading innovation institutions in the world can also accelerate some of the initiatives, such as the ones that has been shared to us about Ulu's materials. Now, I would like to invite the two discussions, but Pak Irfan, hold for a minute. I would like to invite Ibu Vivi that join us right now through Zoom. Ibu Vivi, for the discussion, Ibu Vivi and Pak Irfan, please provide the comments briefly, and each of you will have 5 minutes. Ibu Vivi, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Pak Teguh. Distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning. Sincere apology for not being there in person because I have many other engagement in Jakarta. I have some reflections from very interesting and also insightful comment and presentations from the panelists. First of all, on the definitions of the blue economy, seems to me that there are many room for us. I mean, particularly for Indonesia, for reshaping and improve our understanding on the blue economy. We all know there are some differences between the maritime economy, marine economy, and the blue economy. Whatever the differences, the idea on the blue economy is about the transformations, about reforming toward more sustainable, evidence-based, holistic, as well as integrative development. For Indonesia itself, it's already written in our planning documents that the blue economy will serve as one of the game changer, as a new source of growth. So the emphasis on the blue economy, I think, is about transformational changes in maritime economy processes, with the incorporations of environmentally sustainable practices in compliance with the standards, norms, and many other guidelines maybe prescribed nationally and internationally. In this regard, I think we have to develop a more science-based policy and inclusive community-based implementations. Of course, we apply all the sustainable development principles, but we have to aware and also bring more emphasis on the issues on the carrying capacity. We know about the triple planetary crisis, as well as on the ecological protection. So a couple of things in this regard as a key driver on the blue economy would be we should develop more reliable data and informations. And then, of course, proper research and study. I really love to see all the presentations in regard to the technology, because really show us that science-based is really a backbone for our future blue economy. And of course, the adequate infrastructures and human resources. And of course, it entails the technology and innovations and collaborations, not only in the fishery or marine technology per se, but we have also to build our capability in adaptability flexibility, so the computing and informatics skills, of course, communication skills involved in it, language ability, the complexity and critical thinking is part of the game changer in our human capital and necessitates investment. In regard to the innovation and technology, I think since we are discussing under the WWF events, I think we have to be aware also about some issues in relate to the water. In the aquaculture now, in many places, there are issues on the water scarcity, particularly for the freshwater aquaculture, and also on the water limitations in supporting many economic activities in small islands. So I think, for example, the availability of the irrigation infrastructure to support the aquaculture would be very important also for us in the future, not limit only for the regular irrigations for the agricultures. It is mentioned in Rafaela presentations about the circular economy. So I think when we are talking about the regenerative, be it at the agriculture or in the blue economy, besides technology and innovations, the circular economy principle would be part of the game changer. It provides us the challenges as well as the opportunity. When we're talking about the auto feeder, for example, in the catchment or in the aquaculture practices, we need to, I think some of our startup already applying the circular economy in feeding the fish in order to be more efficient as well as effective and less harm for the environment. Other innovations.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to mention about the importance on the salinization and water treatment technology because we are islands. So a couple of things for the way forward. Of course, we will develop further not only the understanding on the regenerative blue economy, but also on the strategy, research and innovations, and of course partnership and localizing all these things in Indonesia context because Indonesia is not only one point. We have to develop our resilience based on our socio and ecological resilience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ibu Vivi. So the focus is transform. Yeah, we know the resources. Now it's time for us to transform through collaboration. Then I would like to invite Pak Ervan to come to the stage and provide the brief comments of the presentation. Time is yours, Pak Ervan.
Okay, thank you, Pak Teguh. I would like to thank you for the speakers, his esteemed speakers, and this is very excellent presentation and inspiring for us. But for time to give some review regarding this blue economy. So from the beginning that Prime Minister was mentioning, also the blue economy as will be new source of the growth. Means we from Indonesia required is double contribution from the marine before. Now is 7.9 and will be 15%. And how? So it means the precaution, we have a lot of challenge actually. First challenge actually we have challenges, we need to get the ocean clean and health. This is. So actually what we are from infrastructure point of view, as you mentioned, we have a lot of innovative also to make the plastic, for example, because the waste in ocean is produced by land 80% and the 30% is plastic. So we are mitigate, we have to be in the infrastructure. We need to recycling and reduce and also doing the better for improving for the waste management. So, for example, in Indonesia, we have already commit with our, we call it regulation president, to protect this plastic ocean. We have by 2040, it will be 0%. So what we are doing? What we are doing actually, we have to be, we call it the mandatory program for the, we call it in the household, has to be segregation with the plastic one. Then the second one, we call it TPS 3R. So far we have already built around 2037 is the facility to process the waste and continue. So this is the upstream what we are doing in infrastructure. So actually also this will be important that we are also consider about in the downstream, the plastic one. And so we are supporting for the Ulu. This will be innovative for us because the plastic itself we need to reduce, but also we are convert with the other plastic alternative, mean bioplastic. This will be future. One of them actually, what we are pointing, we need to have fundamental make them people in the coast, especially in Teman, Indonesia, in North Java, it will be more have a job as you're offering for the to get this new job for the future for the seaweed one. That's the point what I would like to raise. And last point, I would like to highlight also vision infrastructure development in our strategic in Vision 2025. Will be transformative water resource management initiative, also support Indonesian blue economy. And also we will increasing our water storage capacity. This is important because one of the concern in our issue is we have also to ensure sustainability to provide water for all Indonesia, including coastal area, to support fisheries and tourism. We are exploring the potential coastal reservoir in Indonesia. And we will also strengthen coastal resilience through coastal protection and promoting nature-based solution as core approach. And regarding ocean pollution, we will improve solid waste management to prevent marine littering. For example, through solid waste collection, service for all household as well as solid waste segregation to increase recycling rate to reduce landfill use. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Irfan. So it's about science-based and inclusive transformation, but as well as on how we can improve the efficacy of our policy and programs.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have only 5 minutes left before the closing session of this event. I would like to invite only one urgent question from the participants. If you would like to have or ask the speakers here with regards to their presentations. Pak Sumedi.
My name is Sumedi Andanamulyo. So my concern regarding the shifting or changing the mindset for adopting blue economy. So the question is related to how to improve the capacity of local community and also the capacity of local government and the land ministry. And then as Julia mentioned about how to create a value chain so that blue economy can generate income and also to accelerate capital accumulation in the local community and also in the region. So the question is how to generate income for the people and also to strengthen the capacity of local government in conducting the management. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Pak Sumedi. I think it is a good also to have your insight, Julia and Michael, on how this innovation can also generate more opportunity for the local peoples, and how this can also advise local government to also tap into this opportunity and collaborate, support such kind of innovation. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your comments. And yeah, at Ulu, we very aware that the solution is with the people, and how do we work together towards transforming industries such as the polymer market. And Ulu has researched very truthfully. We got samples of seaweed from all around the world, and look at many aspects before deciding and committing to Indonesia as the place in the world that's very well positioned to be leading this transformation of transitioning from a fossil plastics to a material that's made with seaweed that will bring a lot of local value, all the way from the farmers in coastal areas that they need a sustainable job, and seaweed you can grow with the fish and you get better water and all of that, all the way to the processing industry, which we want to support the Indonesian government around creating the industry right here and keeping that seaweed in the country, bringing jobs to the industry and transforming that into the material of the future that is going to really be the long-term solution towards clean oceans, clean rivers, land, and most importantly, clean bodies as well in our human health. So,
thank you, Julia. Michael, would you like to add?
I think that was great. I'd say one minor just addition would be these, the feedstock supply chains can be quite complex, and I think a key area that we're focused on is simplifying that supply chain and working directly with farming cooperatives and implementing new technologies, and working with the likes of the World Wildlife Fund, for instance, to ensure traceability through that supply chain and the return of benefits to those farmers at the start of that supply chain. So really ensuring that that farmers are being treated fairly, they're receiving fair wages, and we know where that seaweed is coming from. We're rewarding seaweed that is grown in an environmentally friendly way and in a socially friendly way as well.
Thank you. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, so many information, so many things to discuss, so little time. Sorry, but I think there might plenty opportunity for you to meet, also to discuss maybe after this event with the speakers, the excellent speakers for today's event, to explore more, maybe potentially to create more collaboration between the speakers, the initiatives that have been started by the speakers or the organization of the speakers, and with your institutions. And for that, I would like to invite the round of applause for the excellent speakers for today, and also Ibu Vivi and Pak Ervan, thank you. And Rafaela in France, she's still joining us. And thank you for participating in this session, and hopefully we can learn much more about on how we can collaborate to promote innovation for blue economy, to create shared prosperity for the people. Thank you again, and I would like to hand over to the MC.
Thank you for the moderator and the panelists for providing insightful presentation. Once again, big round of applause. And to Bapak Teguh and all of the speakers, also Pak Ervan, please remain on stage. And we would like to invite Ibu Winnie, Ibu Amalia Adininggar, to come forward to the stage to present the plaque and souvenirs to show our gratitude and appreciation for our speakers today. First of all, Ibu Amalia Adininggar will deliver the plaque and souvenir to Piera Turtora. Thank you. For the next one, please Mr. Ervan Maksum to deliver to Amalia Fifield the plaque and souvenirs. And the last one, please Mr. Teguh Sambodo to deliver to Julia and also Michael the plaque and also the souvenirs. And we continue with photo session. Please for the media. I will count down from 3, 3. Oh, okay. Ibu Deputy move on to the center and okay. We'll count down from 3, 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Thank you so much for our speaker, our moderator. And please for Ibu Deputy to continue with closing remarks. Please stay on the stage. Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving to the next agenda, which is closing remarks by Ibu Amalia Adininggar Widyasanti. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. As we listen today, we have a great presentations from the speakers. We have listened to Piera, Rafaela, Ibu Amelia, and Julia, and all speakers agreed that we need to develop a blue economy in the future. We have heard together that the ecosystem and international commitment that the blue economy issue is an issue that really cross-sectoral, not only one sector, and then we really to pursue that blue economy is actually related to the sustainable economic development agenda. Today, we have learned that the common feature between the regenerative blue economy as presented by IUCN is actually really related to the Indonesian economy. From CSRO, we can see that we can utilize IPPIN, right? So we can, one of the projects from the IPPIN is actually located in Indonesia. From Ulu, it is a very great presentation that actually one of the potential resources from our ocean, which is seaweed, is actually very much potential to drive and to become the engine of Indonesian future economic growth. So with that, this is very much aligned with the initial design of the blue economy in Indonesia. That blue economy in Indonesia is designed to support the economic transformation agenda, as Indonesia really need the engine, the new engine of economic growth, because Indonesia has to escape from the middle income trap. Without a new sources of economic growth, then the growth rate of 6% at the minimum in the next 20 years will not be happen. So Indonesia is really active to find new sources of economic growth. And we believe that blue economy will be one of the engine for Indonesian future economic growth. So with that, Indonesia invites all stakeholders, development partners, and other countries to work together with Indonesia in realizing the concrete actions of blue economy that can share prosperity to our people, to become the engine of Indonesian economic growth, and to achieve the Indonesia Vision 2045. Thank you very much, and have a very good day.
Thank you, Mrs. Deputy. We have had an engaging and enlightening discussion today, exploring various dimensions of blue economy innovation for shared prosperity. As we arrive at an end, we have few information. For the VVIP guests, lunch will be served at the PDR restaurants. And for the VIP guests, the lunch will be served at the hotel restaurants. And the souvenir can be collected at the registration table by showing the voucher given earlier. On behalf of the organizer, I extend my gratitude to our distinguished panelists, chairperson, and our esteemed audience for their active participation. As we conclude, let us carry forward the insights gained today and continue to foster dialogues and collaborations for the advancement of the blue economy in Indonesia. Thank you for all your presence and contribution. Finally, I'm Ayusada Devi. Bid farewell, and thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi, 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 Om. Thank you. Once again, we invite the VVIP guests to have lunch at the PDR restaurants, and also for the VIP guests,